Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 142nd episode of the Alter Ego Podcast. I'm your host, Jack Austin. With me, as always, is Mr. Ryan.
How's it going?
Doing great. Thank you so much for asking. Seriously, I appreciate that. Thank you.
You know, I try.
Yeah. Rhino, how you doing, buddy?
I am good. Wow, that got loud. That got real loud.
Is that his rock impression?
It's Mahalo. Mr. Nello is with us as well. How you doing, buddy?
Another day, another wonderful dollar.
Another day, another wonderful dollar. How many dollars does that make for you?
Not many. Like every day is like a penny, but you know what?
Okay.
Wants to say
37.
$37. All right. Well, welcome back. Happy to see everyone here.
Oh, Chet, stop it.
What?
Sorry,
What's
Chet got me. He scared me. He's a
that?
stinker.
Credit's fake.
Chet's a little stinker. Is he being a silly goose?
Yep, sorry about that.
Holy smokes. There is a lot of stuff that happened this week. It was kind of a busy week. We got some good trailers, got a mega dump of Star Wars information, which is going to be great. We're definitely going to be tackling the hell out of that later on in the episode. The Mario movie just released and is absolutely smashing the box office. Spoiler alert.
Absolutely.
I went and saw it. It's really, really good. We also saw the D&D movie over the weekend. It was kind of a busy weekend at the theaters. That Regal Plus Rewards app sounded really sweet after spending as much money as we did at the theater. But yeah, it was good. How about you boys? What'd you do this weekend? Anything fun?
I was gonna say I survived a modern day lynching. Not going to see the Mario app. I had everybody on me on the Mario.
This guy just say what I think he said?
He did. Yeah.
He did.
Wow.
You tell me what a bunch of white folks ganging up on a black guy is.
Bro, we literally asked you why you didn't see it. You got more angry than we did.
He did.
I'm not even
I
sure
was
what to
protecting
say.
myself.
No, you weren't.
I know what happened.
No, okay. All right. Now we're starting to see how this is going.
Yep.
That is not true, buddy.
Just because I don't want to go see a Italian guy jump on turtles. Come on, bro.
See, listen.
No, I've just.
So now
I've
you're
never been
discriminating
into,
against Italians.
I love Italians.
Oh my God. We're
You know, this guy-
30 seconds in.
Pretty good food over there, Tony Anello's.
I think it's
Love Italians.
discriminating against Italians.
How did we get here?
Oh, because
I had a great Easter. I went up and saw my dad, and we had brunch on Sunday. It was a fun time. So he rose.
Your dad, the 1/8 Japanese.
Dude, she gets in the car this morning and she goes, "Mom, did you know Papa John was part Japanese?"
I thought you were talking about Papa John's the pizza.
No, that's my dad's name is Papa John.
Are you talking about Papa John's? And then yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, she asked my wife this morning, and she goes, honey, I think they were teasing you." And I was like, "Nope, Jack's Mexican."
that's right. I did tell them I was Hispanic.
Yeah.
But it went well. But yes, we were giving Rhino a little bit of a hard time because we know.
No. Ryan.
What did I say?
Champa Rhino.
You said Rhino.
Ri-
Black
Ryan-
Rhino.
Sorry, we were giving Ryan trouble because we know you guys want to hear his opinion on this kind of stuff. And he
No, you
is
don't.
known for saying.
I ain't watching this.
So we were trying to get him to watch the Mario movie, and he was saying.
I'm not watching that.
So there you go. It was not a modern day lynching, as he would like to put it.
Ryan,
But
at least 8% of our audience tunes in for you and you only.
I had to defend myself though. Like
No, you didn't. We didn't attack you.
we didn't. We just had
felt that way. You're like, why aren't you going to see this movie, bro? I don't want to see the Mario movie. I've never seen any of them. Like I think I've.
There's
seen
only
bits and
two.
pieces
There's
of
only two.
There's
John
only two.
Leguizamo, and that was enough.
And
Like,
there's that show, which
Yeah.
I love a lot. I love that intro of that show.
my thing is I'm one of those guys that got a feeling how it started and how it ended. Let me guess: the princess got taken by Bowser. Mario went and got her. The end, right?
Both wrong.
Wow,
Oh, well.
you're wrong.
Whoa! Oh, we'll talk about it next week, though. I don't want to get into it, but I fucking love that movie. It was really, really good.
Meanwhile, this dude will watch John Wick 13.
Well,
Bro,
John
I'm
Wick,
all
To
about
his
it.
defense, though, it's what he likes.
but hey,
Yeah.
hey,
Let me
hey,
guess, assassins come after John Wick and he kills a bunch of people.
it's a solid point. Solid point
Yep.
being made there. But, you know, John Wick is one of those guys that wears geared hardware watches. You know, the rugged yet stylish watches that are a perfect accessory for any man who's always on the go, like John Wick, right?
Yep.
Whether it's a board meeting or a bar fight or a council of assassins coming to kill you over 4 movies. made with high quality materials. They're backed up by a lifetime, I don't know how long that's going to be, lifetime warranty. You can rest assured that your Geared watch will be there for you when you need it most. Go to www.gearedhardware.com and use promo code AlterEgo20 to get 20% off your order. Geared Hardware, real hardware.
No bullshit.
I would be interested to know if any of those assassins bought Geared Hardware. Could that warranty be transferred to another person who may or may not pick that watch up off their dead body?
I don't know if there's enough time to get into the legalities there.
Is the
but-
watch, is got the warranty
in a
not the
perfect
person,
world, the
so
watch
I would
does. Yeah,
assume-
the warranty.
See,
does.
I don't keel, I steal.
I love it. So let's get into it. There's not a lot of other news other than Star Wars. Star Wars kind of dominated this week. So we're going to run through a couple of things, and then we're going to get into the War of the Stars. Barbie got a trailer. Did anybody watch it? Anybody see the Barbie trailer?
Why?
I think I've
No.
seen parts of it, but no.
Why would I watch that?
Listen, do me a favor. If you have no intention of watching the movie, that's fine. I understand. Watch the trailer. It is not what you expect.
All right, I'm going to pull this trailer up right
It
now.
is certainly not what I expected. Please don't play that over the audio, but
No,
yeah,
I
definitely
won't.
watch
It's on
it.
muted. It's on
It
muted.
is very funny. First of all, Ryan Gosling is underrated as a comedian. I don't think people realize how funny that dude is.
Yeah, he is pretty funny.
Margot Robbie's good and everything. But Simu Liu is in it too. And so is Michael Cera and Will Ferrell. I had no idea. This movie looks like it's going to be hysterical. There is a little sequence between Ryan Gosling and Simu Liu where they're trying to do beach poses, and they are telling each other they're going to beach them off. And I'm going to beach you off. No, I'm going to beach you off. I'm going to beach both of you off. I was surprised, but it looks very funny. I would definitely recommend giving it a shot.
So what you're saying is this movie is going to be rated PG in America and probably rated R in Australia.
Yeah.
I don't know why that would be. I think it's rated PG-13 regardless.
No, this trailer does. This looks like a utopia. I'd be. It's like a utopian nightmare.
For
Why
you.
would I want to ever watch this movie?
That's a very big oxymoron you just said there. A utopian nightmare.
It's like a just like it's
So
like
it's a perfectly wonderful nightmare.
yeah. It's like
It's the best nightmare it could possibly be.
it's like it's so nightmare. It's like nightmare-ish. I don't know how to explain it. Why are people watching this? Why is this even being made? Who was? Nope. No quit. Nope.
See,
Goodbye.
this is why people listen to the Alter Ego podcast. It's because I'm telling you and giving you facts as to why it's good, and you just get to hear Nello watch it while doing the show
For
and going,
3 seconds.
Nope, I can't hear anything. There's no audio. I have no context, but I'm going to go ahead and turn it off until you don't. All right. That's why you're the expert.
Nello is the Chris Jericho of the Alter Ego podcast.
All
How
right.
dare you?
I'm
How
fucking
The
I'm ready
greatest
to go.
heel that we have had on the show. The greatest heel ever.
He's Hurricane Helms of the Alter Ego
I
podcast.
don't know who that is. That sounds like a great name. Sounds like a great name.
I mean, I always say I'm just not watching just to not watch it.
Right.
No, I'm gonna go
Fine,
with take a
fine.
word out of his book. I ain't watching that crap.
Nobody
Oh,
cares.
I won't watch the Barbie movie either.
But I'm telling you, just watch the trailer. Tell me what you think after that. Blumhouse is putting out a Five Nights at Freddy's movie. It's coming out on October 27th. You know what, Ryan?
What?
You want to do the honors?
I ain't watching that.
This is the children's video game about the animatronic things that come alive and haunt people and kill them. I
But that's hold on a second. That's a children's game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want
Five
to say
Nights
it's
at
a
Freddy's.
game or a TV show. I thought it was.
it was a video game for a very
Okay.
long time, and it's being turned into a movie.
Ah.
I'm sorry, guys. I can't get behind the Five Nights at
That's
Freddy's.
the walking definition of we have run out of shit to make.
Yeah,
I mean, it's really popular. Though.
it is extraordinarily popular. That was what I was going to say in its defense. But I don't know how many kids are going to get mom and dad to take them out to go see.
I honestly had never even heard of it until I posted that, or Chet, excuse me, posted that. I don't post shit.
Right, it's beneath you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's I don't know. That one just doesn't do it for me. Here's something cool though. Everybody remember the old classic School of Rock? Did you watch that one with Jack Black?
That was a
Black,
great
yep.
movie. Great movie.
Funny story. Me and the wife were actually supposed to watch it recently because she had saw parts of it and wanted to see it because she never saw the
Uh-huh.
whole thing. And I was like, that's a great movie. I'll actually watch that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love
it is a
School
great
of
movie.
Rock.
So
that may actually. Oh, I apologize. I was going to say that may actually be peak Jack Black.
he's got a lot of good stuff.
He does have a lot of good stuff, but I think.
His most recognizable.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
Peak,
it's all
though,
good.
I don't know about peak, but okay, most recognizable, or that like the roller coaster how it goes up and that was his like
Tell us how roller
Ascent.
coasters go.
right.
Right.
I'm gonna go,
No, you're right though. It is kind of like where he started. He didn't go downhill. He doesn't put out bad movies. I liked Pick a Destiny. I'm one of the only people who likes the Tenacious D Pick a Destiny movie.
Bro, I love that
Oh
movie.
no, I love Pick a Destiny,
But that one was reviewed as absolute trash. People
but
did
I also like Tenacious D. Like I feel like you have to be a Tenacious D fan to like that movie.
big time, and I love. but-
He actually has a phenomenal voice.
Yeah, he does.
One of my favorite videos is when he did. Oh God, and I'm gonna forget which song it was. When he appeared with Metallica. Was it Enter Sandman or was it Fuel? I can't remember what it was.
It was Battery.
Battery. Okay, all right.
No, it was one. Sorry, it was
Yes,
one, not
yeah.
Battery.
That. Oh my God, his voice is incredible.
Yeah, he's good. He just did Wicked Game 2 on an unplugged performance. Really good. He also does a song in the Mario Brothers movie that's up for an Oscar. Or what's up for an
Grammy?
Oscar? No, not a Grammy.
Yeah, they had Oscars. Oscars has best song because Frozen won it.
Okay.
There you
Okay.
go.
Yeah.
So Jack Black and the cast of School of Rock are getting together for a 20-year anniversary jam session.
That sounds awesome.
He's like,
That
all
does
those
sound
kids
awesome.
were 10 when we did this movie, and now they're all 30 and they've been jamming their whole lives. So they're going to get all those kids back together for another a jam session with Jack Black, probably do like a concert or whatever.
that's kind of cool.
That is cool.
That's definitely cool.
But I know we've been talking about it a lot, but this is one of the news things. Super Mario Brothers crushed it. It made like 338 million at the box office. It's the largest video game release movie of all time.
Largest animated
gonna
release.
It is also one of the largest animated, if not the largest animated release of all time.
Pretty sure it beat Frozen 2, I believe it was. Frozen 2 had the largest up until Mario.
Listen, if you are not a fan of this movie when you watch it, I'm really sorry, because you get ready. There's going to be so many of these because they're so easy to make.
Yeah.
Like the actors just show up, do their lines, and leave. It's going to be so easy for them to pump out movie after movie after movie with these.
Well, there's a lot of Mario content to make, though, too. It's not like they're going to start, beating a dead horse to death even further. There's a lot of Mario content you can make.
Right. And not to mention, this one includes Donkey Kong and Luigi and other characters I won't mention.
Hey,
That they
did
can
my
just-
boy get on a Yoshi?
Listen, you're going to have to watch that.
I mean, if he gets on a Yoshi, I might watch it.
You're going to have to watch that to find out. I'm not
Nah,
going
I'm
to
not
tell
watching
you.
that.
But
Ryan, if I send you a gift card to an AMC theater,
he
will you go
doesn't
watch
need
it?
that. He can watch it for free anyway.
Listen, I'm just not big on animated movies. I don't have kids. It's not my thing. Like
Okay.
I said,
I just had my first child last year. I've been watching animated movies my entire life.
no, I've never been a big fan of them. Like I said, the last movie I think I watched that was animated was Shrek, bro.
Can we agree on one thing for the Super Mario Brothers movie? Seth Rogen called the first Super Mario Brothers one of the worst movies ever made.
He wasn't lying.
It's not great.
No,
It's terrible. It is awful.
And
It
I
is
love
awful.
Bob Hoskins,
Mhm.
Bob Hoskins, and John Leguizamo.
Oh,
I
that
like
was
them
your
both.
Boy from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, right?
Yes, he was also my boy from Hook. He's
Yeah,
good.
watch
he's
out.
great. He was
He's
good
a
in
talented
everything.
dude. Not a Mario.
That wasn't his fault though.
And whoever played Koopa, I forget his name. He's a famous actor. I can't remember who he is though. That was just
Bob Hoskins, that's the dude that was in Speed with Keanu Reeves.
what?
He was the bad guy from Speed, right?
No, Bob Hoskins is
No.
different guy.
The dude, I'm thinking the dude that played Bowser. The dude that played,
Yes,
yes, the dude that played Bowser in the original one. What's his name?
Yeah, that's what we're trying to find out.
Oh,
So-
okay.
Oh, hold on. Somebody Google it.
Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper. I'm a lot smarter than you, Jack. Yeah? Well, I'm a lot taller.
That's interesting. Is that from?
That's
Speed?
that's
Is it
that's
a
from
good
Speed. That's where they're on the top of the subway, and Keanu Reeves shoved Dennis Hopper up, and his head gets taken off by one of the signs.
Oh, that's right.
It was one of the cheesiest action movie lines of all time.
Yeah, but it was one of the greatest action movies ever made. A masterpiece.
Oh yeah, we know why. We know why.
It was a timeless classic that
Yes,
I
it
would
was.
watch over and over and.
Did
over.
you watch Speed 2? Because she was in that one too.
No, because it didn't
The
have
cruise ship that got away.
I have one question about
Yeah,
Mario.
I
and
watched
that's it.
Speed 2 Cruise Control.
One question.
What's up?
Are you
Okay.
are you excited? We're not excited. Are you happier that they kept it as an animation and not a live action?
100%, 1,000 bajillion %. Yes.
You have
If
to
it
make
was
that an
live
animation.
action, it would have been an absolute flop.
Another turd fest like the first one?
It would have been just atrocious. This
You have to make that animated.
Yeah, absolutely. This being the way that it was just yeah. I'm gonna let y'all see it, but anyway, let's move on. DC announced that the Joker 2 has finished filming, not finished production. I don't think it's wrapped production, but it's finished filming.
No, finish filming. Yeah, finish filming.
Yeah.
What's the name of that?
Florida something. I don't know what it is.
Periodoo?
Is that it?
Periodoo?
Reading
so
it?
stupid.
You're why is it stupid?
I don't. Here's my thing.
I love hearing
Folly-a-do?
all of these.
Folly-a-do.
Folly-a-do.
It was a good movie. If it had nothing to do with the Joker, it was a good movie. I just don't like
Folly-a-do.
what they did to the Joker in that movie.
Why?
It touched on the mental side of Joker. It did, and I thought that Joaquin Phoenix played a wonderful Joker. His performance in that movie is top notch. I'm not a fan of the story. I'm a purist. I like comic book accurate stuff to a point.
Okay,
Hey, as I was told on this show, you don't get comic book accurate, bro.
it's true.
You just shut up.
Please don't go into an Adam Warlock rant. Please.
I'm just no. Finish. Is that your whole
That's what I'm
thought?
told.
You just didn't like it because what? I'm just curious. Keep going.
I'm just not the biggest fan just because it's not as comic book accurate as I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be a little bit more comic booky.
Let me say this: who is your iconic Joker performance? And I think
The greatest of all time, Heath Ledger.
He's like,
oh really?
Oh,
I
but
thought you
that's
were gonna
not
say
comic
Mark Hamill.
booky either.
Yes, it is.
That adaptation is not as comic booky as Jack Nicholson.
I agree.
Jack Nicholson is the most comic booky Joker that's there. So
Heath Ledger is very comic book accurate.
No.
to
No,
what
he's not.
to what storyline?
hell,
The Dark
even-
Knight storyline.
To him cutting his face like that and doing the things that he did in the movie?
Well, now
There's a little bit of adaptation in there, but he's still a lot more comic book accurate than Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is.
I think his mentality and the way that he handled things was very comic book accurate. The way he was one step ahead of everybody, I like that. But I don't think it's fair to say that Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is not accurate. I don't think that story
it's a different
has ever
Gotham.
been told. Except
The way Joaquin Phoenix played the Joker, yeah, that's very comic book accurate. Like he was a sociopathic, insane, out of his mind kind of guy. I'm talking about just the story behind it. I wasn't the biggest fan of the story behind it.
the way he thought Thomas Wayne was his father or whatever.
Just he was already insane and just was like, all right, I'm just gonna start killing people. And it's just I don't know. It's a weird thing for me. I have my weird ideologies with stuff. There's a reason why I only buy quarterbacks for NFL jerseys. We won't get into that. I just have weird things about stuff.
I'll say that I enjoy that movie. I think that that's one that was so good, but I only need to watch it once. I don't know. It really made me feel something. They did a great job with it. I could care less because there have been bat nipples on screen before. So if that's one thing that I don't have to worry about, I'll stick with Todd Phillips's vision for the Joker. I thought it was good. I think this is going to be an interesting movie. And again, I like new takes. You know what I mean? I don't always want it to be coming straight off the comic book page.
And I can appreciate that.
I'm more curious about what they're gonna do with Harley Quinn or what's her
Lady
name in
Gaga's
this
playing
movie? What
Well,
is
her actual name is Harleen Quinzel, and she tries to psychoanalyze the Joker and turns
goes
into Harley
cuckoo
Quinn.
for Cocoa Puffs? Yeah.
She has Stockholm syndrome.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
she ends up acquiring Stockholm syndrome.
More her? Is it more a her story centric with the
No.
Joker there, or is it both?
No, it's them. Yeah,
So if you watch the original Joker, there's moments where you realize a lot of what's happening to him is all in his mind,
and it doesn't actually happen.
and it happens differently than the way he's envisioning it in his
Right.
mind. And so that I think is just masterfully done, especially the big reveal that that's what's happening to him. So this is going to be another iteration of that because this movie is rumored to be a musical. So a lot of this is going to be what's happening.
It's a musical.
I'm sorry. But you said musical, I got
Nah,
it.
man, we should watch this shit together.
Hey, listen, South Park was a musical too. I'm never going to put my my
Amazing.
nose up at it.
Another
greatest musical of all time.
Yeah, man, it's a great movie. I'm definitely giving this one a chance in theaters. I'm down for it.
I agree.
Ryan, listen, Ryan. Here's why you should see it. Okay, what would Brian Boitano do?
If he was
You
here
make
right
a
now,
plan and follow through.
because that's
Exactly.
what Brian Boitano do.
Yeah,
But I mean, I don't know. I actually agree with you. More so for me, the Joker. We're watching that movie. I was like, this isn't how the Joker. All right, well, this is what we're going with. I'll watch, I guess. And I'm like,
phenomenal performance.
I just don't
Another thing that I would point out about Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, though, he was a little bit weaker mentally.
Yeah,
You're not used to seeing that out of a Joker. You're used to seeing a Joker who knows he's insane, who knows that he's a sociopath, and he rides that like a horse into the sunset.
I don't know about weaker mentally. I get what you're saying, and I don't disagree with the sentiment of it. I think he was more tortured internally, right? But
Yes,
it
yes.
showed him fighting with trying to be a good guy and trying to live in Gotham, and then him finally giving in to that dark side. And when he did that, that's when he got a little bit more maniacal and a little bit more unpredictable. And that's more the Joker that we're used to.
when the people start when in his mind in that movie, when the people started like wearing the paint and chanting him out, that's when he's like, well, I'm going to embrace this because the people actually love me. But until then,
Yeah.
Jack's right. You could see him teeter-tottering on like, do I really want to do this? Is this really what's going on? And then once he feels that the people have embraced that ideology, that's when he's like, all hands on deck.
Yeah.
see, I don't know.
Do
for
we
me,
see-
I like a villain who's just a villain because he wants to be.
Do we
Just like
do we
Joker
see
and the
this
other
Joker get with? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say just like when his wife allegedly dies or gets killed or for about a month, go crazy. I can understand that. I can see that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we see him with Matt Reeves or with Matt
I was gonna
Reeves
say
At all.
because this is the Outerverse. You know, it's not a part of the main continuity DC. Why wouldn't you want to team them up? Are you gonna really bring in a third Joker? Because we're gonna see a Joker in the DCU eventually. Sure. Why wouldn't you try and team up Pattinson with this Joker? I mean, it makes sense. I mean, the tone for each movie matches. There's a darker, more calm tone to it. It's not comic booky in the sense where it's flashy and animated and CGI and stuff like that. I mean, it's a very real world setting for both pictures. I think it would work out pretty well.
I actually can see that.
Wasn't there a cameo of the Joker in the last movie?
Yes.
A very shit one.
Well, he was in there, so we've already seen what they're envisioning in that universe, right?
Two things. I don't think that Joker was well received.
Mm-mm.
By
They've already said that they're redoing him.
And I'm sure they are. I think that could work. I think that both of them, Pattinson and Joaquin Phoenix, exist very well in their own universes. Not that they couldn't come together, but at some point, you can't have Batman without the Joker. Like, you look at all the iconic superheroes, and Spider-Man's the only other one that comes to mind that has to have specific villains at some point. Like, other guys, whatever, you could make it happen. Captain America, sure. The Guardians, whatever. I mean, you go to Superman, any of them. You don't always need that one villain for that one hero to work. But with Batman, you have to have the Joker.
There's only one villain hero matchup that comes to mind that's probably on par with Batman Joker. That's Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader.
Sure.
That's it.
Sure.
In terms of iconic good versus evil, I think that's the only one that even matches it. Batman and Joker is probably the most iconic good versus evil storyline that we have in all of fiction.
Yeah. With that one though, I could see Superman fight Doomsday. I could see him fight Darkseid. I could see him fight anybody, and it would still be
Zod.
cool. I don't need to see him fight Lex Luthor because to me that's kind of boring.
But isn't that his iconic villain though?
He's got a bunch. That's what I'm saying.
And it's
Yeah, but Lex Luthor is just a man, though. I mean, Batman and Joker are both just normal men. They don't have superpowers. They don't have, any crazy abilities. They're just normal men with mental problems.
But as you say
both.
that, I like seeing somebody else like a Scarecrow or Bane, or you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Like,
he's gonna have those other characters, so you don't beat the one guy.
who I've been waiting to see.
That's
I've been
who
waiting to
they're
see
talking about
Clayface
for the
so
next
freaking bad.
Scarecrow. Yeah,
Dude, but the next Pattinson, they're talking about Clayface, and there's so much good fan art, and I think that they could do a really, really good Clayface.
And then honestly,
And make it terrifying, like an Invasion of the Body Snatchers kind of thing. Like you never know which one is Clayface and what he's
It
dealing
would
with.
fit that whole Gotham that they're building with Matt
Exactly.
Reeves.
And I really
That-
want a puppet.
that Riddler was actually absolutely brilliant. That was the one thing that I liked about that movie. Like the movie was okay. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. It wasn't bad, but the Riddler was absolutely brilliant in the Batman.
We're gonna disagree on that one wholeheartedly, but that doesn't matter. We've been talking about Batman for a long time now.
Yeah, I'd
Let's
like
talk
to
about
tally on
the
the
other
disagree as
trailer
well.
that came out before we start getting into Star Wars stuff. The Marvels trailer that came out. I know there are mixed emotions in this room about this trailer.
I need to see more.
So this is the team of, I believe it's Photon, is not Monica.
Monica Rambeau, yeah.
Monica Rambeau's daughter.
Monica Rambeau's daughter.
Or daughter, her daughter, excuse me, her daughter, yeah.
I don't remember her first name, but
She's the woman from the Scarlet Witch series.
correct.
Yeah.
She became Photon at the end of that because of the Scarlet Witch.
Yep.
So it's her, Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel, and Kamala Khan as Miss Marvel. The trailer looks very interesting. I'm in. I'm excited to see it. It starts off with Nick Fury. There's a lot of connecting things, and I think the bangle from Kamala Khan is going to play a much, much bigger role than we thought it would.
I also think we do get some sort of cosmic entity as well. You can't have Captain Marvel without some sort of cosmic entity in it.
Is this when
We
you
actually
see
we actually
Galactus?
have
Is this when you see a little
confirmed
bit of a-
there's no Galactus. It's confirmed that one of the Kree is a villain for this movie. It's a Kree accuser, like Ronan,
Okay, all
going to be
right,
the-
that makes sense.
the movie's antagonist. But I think
I
there's a
wonder if-
big cosmic element here. I think there's a lot that they're going to have to deal with at the cosmic level, not just this particular character, because we know if it's an accuser, Carol Danvers can just fly through their ship, game over, we win. So it's going to be a lot more complicated than something that can just be smashed, which is
Does
why.
this?
Go ahead.
Do you think this takes over after the storyline of Secret Wars or Secret Invasion? Excuse me, because it shows Fury on that
Could be during.
space station that they make, and that's what he's on during Secret Invasion. I almost wonder if this picks up immediately following the events of Secret Invasion.
Or the other way around. Does this happen right before the events of Secret Invasion?
This comes
Because
out after, though.
I have a feeling that Nick is going to be dead after Secret Invasion.
Yeah, but this comes out after Secret Invasion. That'd be a really bad.
This comes out in November, and Secret Invasion comes out in
Hey,
September.
when has Marvel ever not done things in order?
So
You know?
it's
That's true.
so it could be
You're
like
just itching. You're itching to say the name Adam Warlock.
No, I don't want to talk about him. We don't talk about him. We don't say that name. It's a name who's not to be said. Much
Martha!
like Voldemort. You don't.
I don't.
talk about him.
I don't think Nick. I don't think Nick dies in either of these. I think he dies at the culmination of the Kang storyline.
Secret Invasion, you think?
Yeah, because they have to finish out.
Secret
They
Invasion.
have to finish out. Yeah, they have to finish out Nick Fury so somebody else can take over for the whole mutant ordeal. Because he's not going to really be as big of a player in the.
Is that going to be Maria Hill? I think it could be.
Yo, and I'm not gonna
think
lie.
he will.
When he dies, if he doesn't let out a motherfucker before he goes, I'm gonna be very disappointed.
mother.
He hasn't said it
So-
all series.
To quote the one of my favorite movies, Be Cool. Do you know how many times you can say the F word in a PG-13 movie?
One. Fuck that.
What I got to say to that?
That
Fuck
one
that.
time. That would be dope if it was
Such
that
a
one
good
time.
line. Such a good
A
line.
Prius? What about speed? What about action? If you're important enough, they'll wait for you.
It's true.
In the Marvel trailer, you can see like whatever interaction comes between Kamala Khan and Rambo, they switch planes, whether it's planetary,
and you see
it's
it
something like along that line.
All three of them switch planes.
For what a reason, all three of them are connected, because you see Rambo investigating this anomaly in space, and she switches out with Kamala Khan, and then Kamala Khan's there, and wherever Kamala Khan is, she shows up, and then Captain Marvel
Shows
blips
up
to where she was
in that closet.
So
and breaks out
Rambo
of the
is
door.
blipping to where Captain Marvel was, and they're just kind of in this circular motion there.
Ms. Marvel's not in this.
Well, they
is
go on.
Yeah, she is.
It's on a planet.
Yeah,
and
they showed. Did you watch the
alien.
trailer, Ryan?
she? Are you new here? Just in case you did not know this, Ryan does not watch trailers.
Hey, listen. I got a list of about 6 movies that we don't want to watch. I got the perfect guy for a podcast.
I watch the movies. I don't like watching the trailer because then all you do is see everything that happens.
Sometimes.
And
Sometimes.
I'm
Sometimes.
He's wrong. He's not wrong.
But the MCU they are the master at putting something in a trailer that never happens in the movie.
I agree.
But then too, I've also felt that I've actually liked the movies more, not having any idea what I'm going to see walking into them.
Yeah,
and to me, that's awesome. Like,
See, I can't do that because the last time I did that, it was the movie Signs, and I couldn't sleep for 3 days.
No, see, no, I'm okay with walking in completely unknown and
Don't look at me like that. Don't look at me like that. Signs was a scary movie. Okay.
Sure.
The
Sure.
fingernails under the door. You mean to tell me when the green alien walked away from the bush and the little Mexican kids were screaming?
I'm going to take a quick break here while Rhino collects his thoughts.
Ryan's going through some PTSD
And we'll be
now.
right back on the other end of this. So we'll see you guys in just a minute. And we're back. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are, episode 142, the Alter Ego Podcast. Here to talk about a little bit of Star Wars. There were some massive announcements that happened. And I just want to say, I feel that I've never been much of a Star Wars guy. Really, truly haven't. I've always been more of a Star Trek man. I do appreciate Star
Same.
Wars. I love watching it. And okay, it's fun, but I'm not like die hard like a lot of people are. I think that Dave Filoni, the guy who did a lot for Clone Wars, he's the creator of Mandalorian. He's actually been he did a lot with Rebels, I think, too.
Yep.
That dude, if you're a Star Wars fan, you should be kissing the ground that guy walks on.
His name is synonymous with Star Wars.
He has single-handedly saved your favorite sci-fi franchise. Not George Lucas, Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have absolutely crushed it.
Jon Favreau has definitely saved them.
Favreau saved Marvel, too.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want something to be successful, give it to Favreau.
He's
our
the
brain
reason why the
trust
MCU exists.
Right.
Who's the what?
Who's our nerddom brain trust right now? I've got Henry Cavill, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni. Who else we got? Who else is on the brain trust?
Well, in terms of acting and like playing the part, I would put Pedro up there.
Pedro Pascal is up there now too.
Yeah. In terms of playing the character that you give him, yeah, I would give it to Pedro.
Yeah, I put Henry Cavill in there because he's done all of it.
Well, Pedro did Game of Thrones. He did Mandalorian. He did The Last of Us. I mean, his name is synonymous with nerd culture as much as any other actor is.
Henry Cavill was Superman. He was The Witcher.
Hey, we're not going to
He's
say
going
that's
to-
another name. We're not going to
The
say on here too
Hemsworth
much
kid.
anymore.
Who?
Cavill, because it just makes me sad.
Oh, I know.
All of it. No more witch. No
Sad.
more Superman.
Emilia Clarke. She's done Game of Thrones. She will be in a Marvel movie.
How about Zoe?
She was
Saldana?
in Star Wars.
in
Emilia Clarke was
Star
also in
Solo.
Solo.
Zoe Saldana.
Zoe.
Mm.
Mhm.
Avatar, Star Wars. Yeah. Yeah.
Good for you, Zoe. We're proud of you.
The Rock.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
You know, I was really hoping.
moving on. No, the fucking Tooth Fairy isn't. Anyway, sorry. We're moving on.
39:30.
You can't. That's not an accurate time because we're gonna edit some of this out. Anyway, sorry. Moving on to Star Wars. I'm gonna toss this over to Mr. Rhino because he has been following these updates ferociously, and he's obviously very well invested in this. So take it away, Rhino.
That I am. So Star Wars is a thing.
That was good.
Well, there was
If
your
you
son.
want somebody who's going to watch a quarter of the content coming out the next 3 years, he is your man.
That's the guy.
If you want
Hey,
advice
hey.
on napping,
I'm gonna watch anything with Rosario Dawson in it.
That's
For
true. I
sure.
can vouch for him on that one.
Oh, so he's watching Ashoka.
Mhm.
So over the weekend, we had what was called the Star Wars Celebration. They do it once in a while. I think the next one is in 2025 in Japan, actually, which is unfortunate because I would have loved to have gone to it. And they go over all of the upcoming content. It's kind of like a Star Wars con where they just announce everything upcoming. They talk about past stuff. They have a bunch of panels with future and past actors. The gentleman that played Palpatine actually had a wonderful panel. I loved listening to him talk. He has great stories
Hayden
about his
Christensen,
interaction.
one too.
Yep, he was up there as well. Before I get into the news they dropped at the Star Wars Celebration, the one thing that I absolutely love about this is the fact that we have so much to be excited for in the world of Star Wars. I mean, this didn't really exist when we had the sequel trilogy come out. Obviously, you had the Star Wars diehards who were excited about getting new movies for the first time in almost 2 decades, which was fine. But at the time, you didn't have the series that had been killing it on Disney Plus. You only had the trilogy to look forward to, so you had one movie every couple of years. Now it's like we're getting Star Wars content every couple of months, and it's good. For the first time since the original trilogy, the Star Wars content that Disney is pushing out is great content. The Mandalorian is great. Andor was great. Ahsoka is going to be great. The movies that we're getting the news for seem like it's original content, which we have talked about in the past with the sequel trilogy. It was cheap thrills. You had Han Solo, you had Chewbacca, R2-D2, Princess Leia, and that's fine. People love seeing them, but it was like a cheap thrill just to get the viewership of the movies up. Now we have brand new characters, we have brand new storylines that people have been itching for months, and that is why I am most excited about what they announced at the Star Wars Celebration. We're going to get into the television news first. Obviously, the biggest one from the weekend was the Ahsoka trailer. Now, I'm sure
Looks very
three of
good.
the four of us probably watched the trailer. Ryan.
No, I did not. I'm not a Star Wars guy at all. So I mean,
That's all right. No, we're not knocking you. It sounds like the storyline of Ahsoka is going to take place right after the Rebels. I believe, what was it, 15 years ago the Rebels came out, or 10 years ago?
When he says the Rebels, he means the animated series Star Wars.
Yes. Which is where we really got our first big look at Ahsoka, was in Rebels and the Clone Wars as well. This
Clone
is going to
Wars-
be her...
Clone Wars
Go ahead.
focused on her a lot. I mean, it was between her, Anakin,
General Grievous, Count Dooku, those guys, yeah.
Yeah.
Which took place in between the time periods of the second and the third movies for the prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
This one is going to get our first live-action look at Ahsoka for an entire series. We're also going to get a new villain thrown in, Thrawn. I don't know what you guys know about Thrawn, but this is huge news for the Star Wars diehards out there. Do you guys know about Thrawn? Have you heard of him?
I've heard a lot about Thrawn. Yeah, I knew who he was before this. I haven't seen any of him in context, but for me, who knows nothing, let me know if I'm right or wrong. He is kind of that new figurehead. After Darth and Palpatine go down the drain, he becomes the new guy. Not Supreme Leader Smoke. I don't think he lives long enough to see Snoke, but Thrawn is a major figurehead in the resurgence of the Empire.
He is pretty much the dude that helped rebuild the Galactic Empire into the New Order, or the Final Order, excuse me.
First Order?
God, Lee, I'm sorry. I got so
New
much
Order.
Star Wars on the
Order.
brain. The
First
New Order, the Final Order, the Last Order, one of the orders,
Repeat
McDonald's order. He's a huge player. Now, he in previous canon and in previous lore, he was around, before the fall of the Galactic Empire. That's when he really rose to fame and started help rebuilding everything. I believe he had a relationship with Palpatine before his demise at the end of Return of Jedi, and then that's when he really took over. The cool thing about Thrawn, what really differentiates him between other Galactic Empire leaders, is that he does not lead out of fear. He does not lead out of like people fighting for you, otherwise they die. His people fight for him because they want to, because he's that great of a leader. I mean, you're talking about one of the greatest leaders out of any Star Wars leader other than Darth Vader and Palpatine himself.
Well,
People die for him.
Were work or I kill you types. So I wouldn't characterize Vader or Palpatine as great leaders. I would say they were great tyrants.
Feared leaders, and they were great in terms of what they accomplished. Thrawn, on the other hand, his entire fleet, his entire army, they follow him because they want to follow him. And that's what I think makes Thrawn more feared than almost anybody in Star Wars, is because he has people that are willing to die on the battlefield for him, not because of him.
I like the casting choice for the actor.
It was the same dude.
Is that Mads
Same dude.
Mikkelsen's brother?
Can he choke people with the Force?
He's not a force sensitive character.
Yeah, I think he's also the one they're playing at in Mandalorian right now too.
There is some speculation that he's because the gentleman that oh my god, I'm gonna forget his name. The bad guy from Mandalorian. What's Moff Gideon? What's his real name?
They call him
Giancarlo
Moff for
Esposito?
short.
Giancarlo.
Yes,
you know?
Giancarlo. Yeah. So he had an interview and he was kind of speculating. He was hinting towards Thrawn being the ultimate bad guy in Mandalorian, which the timelines do match up in terms of him being alive in Star Wars. A lot of the canon from Thrawn was made non-canon in 2014, and then he was reintroduced in canon a couple years later. So
annoying.
well, it's not annoying in the sense that Disney has a lot of room to do what they want with him, which is a good thing because it's a new character on screen outside of the animated series. It's the first time we're going to see him in live action. They can kind of mold him to how they want him to be. So I'm actually okay with that.
So, Moff Gideon, Giancarlo Esposito, when they interviewed him, they asked him what his thoughts would be on Thrawn, and he said that Moff Gideon and Thrawn are in a council that are leading the new empire, if you will, and that Thrawn doesn't necessarily trust or like him, and has some plans for him as well. That's from the actor himself. So that's interesting. So what else did they, before we get into the deep dive, what else did they announce in terms of shows and movies and stuff?
So there is obviously, we're getting another season of Bad Batch. The one, I don't know what your thoughts are on Bad Batch, if you wanted to touch on that at all. I mean, Bad Batch has been okay.
Well, it's done gangbusters for Star Wars. It's done really, really well.
It has, yeah.
Supposed to be the third and final season of it, which I'm starting to like, that people are allowing things to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Stop taking your stuff and saying Bad Batch is cool. We're selling a lot of stuff for Bad Batch. Let the story be what it is and just be great. So I'm happy that this is going to end on a third season because, to be honest with you, Clone Force 99, there's not much that they can do, especially because we've found in canon that the clones don't live as long as normal humans. They live their full lives a lot sooner than your average person. So you really can't have too much with them.
Well, there is an elite force of clones that did not have that rapid aging gene in them. So they haven't really touched on that elite force yet. Hopefully they do. There are 3 series that they announced that I am particularly excited about. The first one is called Skeleton Crew, and it's a story about the children of
I think so.
Skeleton Crew. Yeah, it's with Judd Apatow or Judd Apatow. Oh my
Jude
God.
Law.
Jude Law. Sorry.
Yeah.
I got my Judes mixed up. Jude Law. And it's a story from the perspective of the children. And Jude Law, in the trailer that they showed, they kind of made Jude Law seem like a Jedi who was coming to save these children. I'm not sure that's the case yet. I'm almost wondering if Jude Law is on the dark side of the Force and he's being used by, the Galactic Empire, the New Order, whatever, Final Order, excuse me, and they're collecting these children. Because there was a story in the sequel trilogy that they were going out and looking for Force-sensitive children.
To try to squander them or turn them into Sith?
Well, the biggest point behind it was trying to eliminate anybody becoming a Jedi again.
Gotcha.
They were just trying to wipe the Jedi off the map entirely. So there's that one. The other one that I'm super excited about, The Acolyte. The Acolyte is going to touch on the High Republic. That storyline takes place about 200 years before the events of the sequel trilogy. But I think the coolest part of the show, which is it's giving us something new that we haven't seen before, the show is going to take place from the perspective of the Sith that existed at that time and not the Jedi or not the good guys. It takes place from the perspective of the Sith, which I am on board with 100%.
Well, they're more interesting characters, the bad guys, always.
Depending on the content, yes, I would agree with that. I mean, the sequel trilogy I wasn't a fan of from the Jedi perspective just because it was regurgitated stuff. It was pretty much the same storyline that the original trilogy gave us. Well, so it is going to...
I'm going to say just the villains in general, they're always more driven. They're willing to do more drastic measures. I think they're just more interesting when you look at it. So for me to see the Sith point of view, which has always been, oh, there's only two, and we specialize in killing Jedi and taking over from the shadows. Okay, cool. I'd like to see that. And all you ever see is them get into lightsaber battles. And I don't necessarily think that's compelling movie or TV. I'm ready to see what it took on the back end. That's what made Andor so good, was seeing the nuts and bolts of that
The
fight
planning.
from the rebellion side. So to see that from the Sith side, even if it's from early on, I'm down. I'm about that action.
It's before.
Well, the
Yeah.
go ahead.
It's basically Acolyte takes place is the beginning of the prequels. From what the internet is saying, it says it's a story that is going to concentrate on Darth Bane's lineage.
Yeah. So I think the coolest part about this is this comes from a time period in the Star Wars lore, the Star Wars timeline, where the Sith didn't really exist. It was at a time where the Jedi thought the Sith were extinct. Because if you remember from episode 1,
Yeah.
Qui-Gon Jinn, when he finally saw the Sith, they were all surprised that there was a Sith present.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really cool to see them trying to plan from the shadows and say, hey, let's get back into the game. Let's get back into fighting Jedi and try and take over the galaxy. I think that's super interesting. The other series that I'm extremely excited about, and Jack and I talked about this one at length, the first series is Star Wars Visions.
I love Star Wars Visions.
It was so good.
First episode, the Ronin, was the best one. That's some of the best Star Wars TV I've ever seen. Just watch that first episode of Star Wars.
Yes.
The rest of it, I don't know. The Elder was pretty good too, but that first one, man, the Ronin, I was like, this is what Star Wars really could be.
Was he a Jedi master?
No.
Well, so what it is they allow the property of Star Wars to go out to different content creators all across the planet. I mean, people who make anime, people who make comedy, people who make anything, and they allow them to interpret Star Wars in their vision. So like that first one that he was talking about, Ronin, it almost had that anime feel to it, but it was Star Wars content.
So let me answer your question. The asked if he's a masterless Jedi. Actually, now that you say that, I think yes, he was. So the story of the Ronin is,
And I only said that because that's what a Ronin is.
yeah,
It's a
right.
samurai,
You know, and
it's
that's
a
what made me
master
look
samurai.
deeper into it,
Yeah.
because this is a guy who travels from town to town, and what happens is the town just happens to be attacked by a Sith Lord and her underlings or whatever you want to call it. This dude shows up to fight her, and she thinks what everybody in the whole story thinks is like, hey, you're a Jedi. And then she goes to attack him, or she doesn't think he's a Jedi at all. She goes to slash him right down the middle, and he catches the lightsaber blade right in the middle of his hands. And she's like, oh shit, you're a Jedi. And then she goes to attack him, and he pulls out a lightsaber, and that motherfucker's red too.
Yep.
He's like, oh, what the fuck? And so they fight, and then at the end, he show him collecting all the Sith crystals, but he's still fighting with a Sith blade. It's badass.
Yeah, he takes all of the bleeding crystals from Siths
and collects them.
Yeah, and I really hope that this second season expounds on that particular storyline, because you definitely hit the nail on the head. That was the best episode out of the entire series. I thought the rest of the episodes were pretty good, but that was by far the best out of the entire series for sure.
Yeah, the kitty ones didn't grab me, but the Elder was good. That one was good. It had a lot of potential, and there was a lot of a Sith focus in it. Honestly,
I think the biggest news out of the Star Wars Celebration was the movie news. The first one, it's not a bit of an announcement. They're talking about the Rian Johnson trilogy. Now there has been a Rian Johnson trilogy rumors for years that he was going to do a post sequel trilogy, and apparently from Kathleen Kennedy, who is the Lucasfilm's president. She said that it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Apparently, Rian Johnson's a very busy guy, and they're just trying to figure out scheduling. But I am super excited to see more details drop about that, because they've been talking about his trilogy since literally the sequel trilogy concluded. I don't know what time period that would take place. I don't know if that would be immediately following or if it would be, 100, 200 years in the future. The second movie news that we got is I don't know if you would call it a sequel trilogy sequel, but we are getting a movie that's going to have Rey back in it, the Daisy Ridley, the actress that plays Rey, where it depicts her rebuilding the Jedi Temple, the Jedi Order, the whole nine.
Trying to with I'm sure guidance from Luke and Yoda and all those guys.
Well, Luke's gone.
Oh no, Luke's
Solo's-
never gone.
Solo's
Jedi are never
too long.
gone.
Well, they're absorbed into the atmosphere or whatever the
Yeah, the
force or whatever.
chlorophyll sends them back up into the sun so they can pollinate again.
I think there's some
No, you're right.
potential behind this. It depends on what they want to do with this. I would have rather have seen this be the start to Ryan Johnson's trilogy.
No,
it's gonna be-
Scott. And he dropped the ball next.
What did he do in the Trump?
Didn't he make the second movie? J.J. Abrams made the first. Ryan Johnson made the second, and then
No,
J.J.
I think Ryan.
made the
I think
third.
Ryan Johnson made the third. I think Ridley Scott was the second. I can't remember off the top of my head. I really can't.
He's had his chance. They were trash. Move on. Give me some new blood.
Oh, Nello
Move on.
spoken.
But no. But speaking of this Daisy Ridley stuff, I read something on CBR that says that that even she came out and said
CBR is comicbookreport.com.
Yes. that she came out and said that when they first were writing that new trilogy, the first idea they had was that she was supposed to be Obi-Wan's daughter, which in my opinion would have been a lot better than whatever the hell she came from and how they explained that story.
Sure.
If you ask me,
Sure.
I would have rather have seen her be Luke Skywalker's daughter,
Yeah.
because she says at the end, "My name is Rey Skywalker." I mean, that was just such a pointless ending to a movie I've ever seen in my
pointless.
entire life.
The whole yeah, I agree. The whole all three
Making her a Palpatine was just ridiculous.
All right, so I have no idea about any of this. These movies you were talking about, they don't seem to. I don't know.
This is the sequel trilogy.
So does are any of these movies like? Are we getting like a Mandalorian movie or anything like that? Like because
That's
series.
that
different-
sir. I would ask if you just have a little bit of patience.
Well, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, but you're kind of dragging this bitch on. I ain't
yeah,
gonna lie.
you beat
And
this
it's
horse.
only because I don't like Star Wars, so I'm like,
so yeah, but this one's going to be good, man. I'd like to see Rey. I mean, of all the characters to bring back, Rey makes the most sense. And we were talking about this. Get rid of all these other characters that are coming back just for the 70-year-old fans who want to see Luke again. I'm sick of it. And this girl, I don't think got her moment in the sun. She's supposed to
No.
be the very powerful Jedi who's supposed to come back and bring back the Force and bring back the Jedi. And from what I understand of these movies, they're just trash. I've seen the first and
Yeah.
second of the sequel trilogy, and I think this girl's super talented. She
Yeah.
plays the character of a Jedi, or at least somebody struggling with the Force, very well. Why wouldn't we want to show her at the next phase without all this crap dragging along behind
Do
her?
you think they bring back Kylo Ren for the next phase, or do you think?
So there is a group of fans on the internet who are screaming
I know.
to have Kylo Ren come back. It would be pointless
If I asked
after
you.
what they did to him in the sequel trilogy. It would be pointless to bring him back.
I think he had a start, a middle, and an end in those trilogies. I think that they did really well with that in terms of him as a character and getting him from point A to point B. I think they did it.
But that's
The
it.
only reason why I would like to see him come back is just so I have more TikTok content to watch, because people cosplaying him is one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen.
So they're only going to bring back Ray and John Boyega from these last movies. The main
they haven't even said that
characters.
John Boyega's
Yeah,
coming.
they haven't said John Boyega's
I would
coming
like
back.
to see-
Or
Move on completely.
or Poe. What's the guy that plays Poe?
It's Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac. Yeah, they haven't announced Oscar Isaac or John Boyega. So the movie that Ryan is interested in, that's actually the movie that Filoni is directing.
Woo!
The movie's supposed to take place during the New Republic, so that's the restored Republic after the original trilogy. Now, there's been rumors that was going to be like the Mandalorian's finale, but he came out and kind of made some comments saying that it's not going to focus entirely on the Mandalorian. It's not going to be, his story. It's going to be the story of the New Republic. The Mandalorian fits into that story, but it may not be his story.
I'm down with it, and I don't want it to be the end of the Mandalorian.
I don't either.
think with this show and them diving into Boba Fett's lineage and Jango Fett's lineage and now Din Djarin and the whole culture of the Mandalorians, I don't want that to go anywhere. That right now is the most exciting part of Star Wars for me, period.
see, that was gonna be my next question. Like, I don't know much about Star Wars at all, but like Boba Fett and watching all those guys, are they doing like a bounty hunter type movie with all those boys in them, or what?
Now we do get
Gotta watch that.
other Mandalorians
Oh,
in
Mandalorian.
Ahsoka,
Right.
because there was a couple Mandalorians in the Ahsoka trailer. So,
So in the lore of Star Wars, at some point, Darth Maul comes back and he rules Mandalore with the dark saber, and there are some factions of Mandalorians that feel he is forever their leader. So
Yep.
there are evil sects of the Mandalorian culture. There's Mandos who are kind of like the paladins, the religious zealots of the Mandalorian culture, and then there's Bo-Katan, who is your normal leader, your queen, if you will, of normal Mandalorian society. And so there's a lot of different views, and they're starting to incorporate all of them into the series, which I think
That was a good
is
episode last
just
week.
a fantastic place to go in terms of Star Wars. I've said it forever. Get away from just the Jedi and the Sith and all that nonsense. I'm sick of it. The best Star Wars content
See, I disagree with
out
that.
to me has had nothing to do with Jedi or Sith.
I agree.
See, I disagree with that, and here's why. I am all about new Jedi content and Sith content. Like, for instance, James Mangold, he's the director from Logan and the new Indiana Jones movie that's coming up. He is directing a Star Wars movie that's going to be the dawn of the Force and the dawn of, like, the Jedi and the Sith. That is a phenomenal storyline. I mean, that takes place 25,000 years before anything that we've seen on film. That is brand new content that we've never seen before. It's a brand new story that we've really never read before. That I'm all about. I'm okay with Jedi and Sith being in the story if it's brand new stuff. The reason why I had such a problem with the sequel trilogy is because it literally was a regurgitated story from the original trilogy. And that's why it's easy to get sick of the Jedi story. But if you give me brand new Jedi stuff, I'm all about it.
The discovery of the Force in the Jedi and the Sith sounds fucking boring. Like, I mean, sure, we're going to see that they get to figure out the powers and you might get a couple of cool CGI moments, but what are the Jedi going to find out? That they like to protect people and that there's the flow of the Force and it's in all living things.
9
and
movies.
this is something that we need to protect, and we're going to be
9.
the Guardians, and then the Sith are going to go,
Come
you know
on.
what? That really sucks. I don't want to do that. I just want to do the cool lightning out of my hand shit. And they're going to figure out they want to be evil and go against the Jedi. I mean,
9 movies.
I appreciate your optimism when it comes to that. But from somebody who's seen a lot of the Jedi and Sith content, when it comes to, okay, so this time it's not going to be any of the normal Jedi. It's going to be, let's just call him Bill. Bill over here is going to discover that midichlorians and the Force are a thing, and he's going to figure out how to use it. He's going to be a cool dude. Bill's going to find that out with Dale. Dale's a fucking dick. Dale doesn't return his shopping cart back to the caddy when he's done
What
shopping.
a dick.
So he's going to take the crystal and go, you know what? Let's build some fucking laser swords, man. What do you think? And we're going to find out one turns blue, one turns red, because Dale's a dick and Bill's really cool. That, to me, I'd love to be wrong. I would love to see something that's compelling, but when you have these are the good guys, these are the bad guys, I'm bored. When you have Andor, which is no Jedi, you have, is that dude good or bad? He's dicking over guys that are on his team. What the fuck?
And the other
That kind of
team.
stuff to me is so much more exciting. Sure, there will be cool visuals. There will be some cool laser sword fights, I'm sure, and figuring out the Force.
There won't be though, because they actually started off with regular swords and not lightsabers.
Okay, so now it'll be fucking Highlander on steroids. I mean,
I'm here for
I would appreciate your rant just now, which was a great rant. I would appreciate your rant if they weren't coming out with other content.
But again,
But
that's,
they are giving you all of the content that you want, and they're also giving people like me the content that we want. That's why right now the state of Star Wars is very exciting.
and nobody,
gonna
I'm not
ask-
disagreeing with you.
And I want to ask another question. Are they doing anything to like restart Star Wars or
No,
they shouldn't.
No, they're furthering the Star Wars that we've never gotten to see before.
Which I'm
Okay,
down
no, because like you said, you guys are talking about the regurgitated movies, blah, blah, blah.
9 of them.
I mean, this is going something when they come out, like the 70s when it started.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like,
The original trilogy was late 70s, early 80s. Yeah.
so that's like 50 years old. So like, if I'm me, who's just now getting into some of this stuff, and I would like to watch some Star Wars stuff, but I don't have time to watch 49 movies, everything that ever came out. Then
I
I
mean,
drop
like,
it, like,
honestly
one
though,
off.
but you're a fan, right? Like you
But no,
say
no,
to me
I'm
right
getting-
now.
But here's what I'm saying.
Go
It's
ahead.
but I'm getting to like people who may be new to it. You know what I mean? Like,
Watch the original trilogy.
I was gonna say,
and I have.
you keep.
but-
Go ahead.
It's still a lot to take in, and a lot to do. What I'm saying is, there's something like new. Like, are they trying to maybe one-off things? Like, you have something like the Mandalorian, which I'm interested in.
The Skeleton Crew is something completely new that we have not had before. That is going to be something that is worth watching. Acolyte, something completely new, because the High Republic has not been touched on a whole lot.
See, okay,
The Old Republic has been, but the High Republic hasn't.
But that's what I'm saying. If you haven't seen everything else, does this make sense to me?
No,
Probably.
yeah, it'll make sense. You don't have to know a whole lot to watch the brand new content. I mean, you could have got into The Mandalorian without knowing a whole lot about The Mandalorians. I mean, it's still a great series.
Yeah, but I mean, like, still understanding what's going on in the world. Like, I don't like. It's funny because my wife will make a comment around, like, "What the fuck you know about Star Wars?"
I mean, I get where you're coming from because, you know, there's a couple different ways to approach that, and some of the newer content, I'll say, like if you watch Rogue One, you don't need to know shit about Star Wars. I mean, it helps, but it's still a great story. I mean, sure, they're starting to tell compelling human stories with more facets to it. In terms of the trilogies and that story, yeah, I wouldn't start with the sequel trilogy, which is what 7, 8, 9. I wouldn't start with that. I'd say 1 through 6. Those are good movies. I like them. They may not be my favorite, but 1 through 6 is good. 6 through or 7 through 9.
They phoned it in on 7
but
through
everything
9.
after that to me has been good. I didn't hate Solo. I mean, it's not
It's
all,
trash.
but that's
Solo's
me.
not trash. Solo is not trash.
Sorry.
And you don't have to be
Hot
sorry because it's
garbage.
your opinion. But what I'm saying is like Bad Batch. That's completely new. Mando, completely new. All this stuff, yeah, you can.
They didn't do
seriously
Han
watch
Solo
it.
justice in that movie compared to his canon, and you know it.
What's
If you're the Star
what is-
Wars guy that
what's
you talk
doing
about.
justice to him, Nello? Let's give you the floor. What is doing justice to Han Solo?
The whole way he picked up the whole way he got the Millennium Falcon, the fighting, the pits, like Han Solo's life from when he was a kid to all the way up has not been, oh, I'm just this goofy guy who's got one-liners. It was a hell of a ride, and there did no justice to his backstory whatsoever.
Nello. Han Solo in the original trilogy was a goofy guy that had one-liners.
But even in his
It's true.
whole progression of characters. So if you go canon and read the books and all the crap that you're talking about, Mister, I like got to stay with the books and stuff. They didn't do him justice. In
So
that.
let me expound on Jack's question and ask you this: what would you have wanted to see from Han Solo from the Solo movie? What would you have wanted to see that wasn't in there?
anything but what we got.
Well, see,
At this point, anything
not
than
an
what we
answer.
got.
That's
Anything
not
that
an
what-
answer, though. That's
You
not an
have to-
answer.
Can I be the guy who's weirdly enough doesn't watch Star Wars, doesn't know anything about Star Wars?
Yeah.
I happened to catch this movie when I was on my honeymoon. Actually, I think is when it came out.
Solo.
I was,
watched
I was on
Solo.
a cruise ship. I was on a cruise ship.
All right.
So it was playing,
Atta boy.
and
Wait a minute. Hold on. Just pause for 1 second. I apologize. Pause for 1 second. You won't watch movies on your fucking free time, but when you're on your honeymoon on a cruise ship, you will sit down and watch Solo.
This checks
Bro,
out.
I don't have to. I don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
I don't got no place to be.
He was in the middle
You
of
know
the
what I
ocean.
mean?
This checks
I was
out.
taking I had eaten. I had slept. You know what I mean? I was
Okay.
tired. Like woke up.
Let's hear it.
Solo's on the TV. I'm watching. I'm like, I actually like this movie. And I
Oh
actually
my
stood there,
God.
and
What is
actually,
going on?
and I actually watched
This
it.
is a
And I watched it a
nightmare.
couple
Oh,
times
episode.
over because it's always on repeat when you're on a cruise ship.
Yeah, yeah.
So like I caught like the end of it, and I was like, okay, it's interesting. And then I watched from the beginning. I'm like, I actually like this. Maybe Star Wars isn't so bad.
So
You want to
no,
know what? Donald Glover played a phenomenal Lando.
I don't know about phenomenal, but he was damn good. I
Yeah, he
mean,
was good to me. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Donald Glover.
The dude had the swag and the debonair that Lando's character traditionally had from Empire.
and this is what like they've always described Han as like a space pirate, kind of a maverick
Yeah.
style character, and I thought the kid did a great job.
Yeah.
He won the game, or won the ship in the card game, like he says in canon.
Yep.
He made the Kessel Run in less than 20 parsecs, like he says in the
Less
movie.
than 12, yeah.
Who gives a shit? But you know what I'm saying? He did the fucking thing, right? I mean, like, I don't know. I am excited for Star Wars. Just for me, I will watch all the Force sensitive stuff and see the Jedi and the Sith and all that. Cool. I want more. I want more than just we're the Jedi, we're the good guy, we're the Sith, we're the bad guy.
Actually, you know what? Let me ask this question. Because you loved Ronin. Ronin was your favorite storyline from Star Wars Visions, and that's the one that probably focuses on the Force more than any of the other episodes.
Other than the Elder,
Other than the Elder, yeah, but you're pessimistic about this movie about the dawn of the Force. I don't understand.
I think I get it because it's not a typical story of good and bad. A Ronin, like you said, he doesn't have.
But neither is the dawn of the Force, though. I mean, that's not a typical good versus bad story. I mean, that's people figuring out. It's figuring out who they are, and it's figuring out conflict. I mean, it's not somebody who's predetermined good versus bad.
But that's
you have an internal conflict in there. It's like, okay, I see this guy's point of view. I'm going to struggle with mine. He's going to struggle with his. I mean, I think there's more to it than just, all right, Bill's awesome, Dale is a dick. I think there's more to it than that.
Of course, and I'm oversimplifying it for the sake of my argument, because at the end of the day, that's what I think it's going to end up being. I will be the first person to line up and be happy to be wrong. I want to see it, but the reason I like the Duel, which is the name of that episode, by the way, is because he's not a Jedi, he's not a Sith, he's a force sensitive dude, and he has a mission and is a human story that when you see, oh shit, he's collecting these and going through and killing the bad guys, I instantly want to know more about him.
But that's kind of going to be what this story is, though. They're not Jedi, they're not Sith. They're just people that are trying to figure out where they need to be in life. I mean, that's exactly what the Ronin was doing.
We'll wait and see. No, the Ronin had a very specific goal in mind: find all the Sith and kill them, and that makes me want to know why that is.
Yeah,
all right,
but
fair enough.
I'm saying when they discover the Force, there's going to be something about, well, we're Jedi, and then the other guys are going to be the Sith.
Listen,
is it safe to say
typical falling out where one side goes to one side and the other side goes to another, and that's how it begins. And I kind of see what you're talking about. That's why I'm not even hearing any, just hearing about it. I was like, the Ronin thing interests me more than anything so far you talked about.
It's going to be.
It's on Disney Plus. Go watch it, dude. It is worth the watch. At least that first episode. It's only like 15 minutes long.
If that, yeah.
Is it safe to say that we're more excited about the Star Wars shows, quote unquote, than the trilogies and the movies?
No. I'm excited about both of them.
At least me.
I'm very excited about the new content that you got to understand. Content about the High Republic and content about the Old Republic, that is something that's like the diehard Star Wars fans have been screaming for decades. So I am just as excited about the shows and the movies together. I'll say that.
Me too. I like it, man, because I think just the way Marvel does it, that these movies are the bricks and these TV shows are the mortar that keep it together. I think all of it's going to be great. I'm excited to see where it goes.
I'm just excited.
Has Star Wars go ahead.
I just said I'm just excited to see Rosario Dawson.
Has Star Wars missed on a series yet?
On your honeymoon.
I thought Boba Fett was kind of lackluster. It was okay. It was good, but I felt it was kind of lackluster.
Last week's episode?
Boba Fett, not Mando.
Oh. Mando's way better than Boba Fett.
For sure. As of right now, although Boba, I think, has more potential. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us here at the Alter Ego Podcast, episode 142. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on social media. Alter Ego Maniacs group is going. We've also got the Discord chat. Thank you so much for checking us out, and we will be announcing the winner of our T-shirt contest next week on episode 143. So you still have time. Go find last week's episode 141, like it, follow the channel, and you will be entered to a chance to get a free Alter Ego Podcast T-shirt. I'm your host, Jack Austin. Ryan, Rhino, Nello. We'll see you next week, except for Nello. He's got other shit to do.
It's his anniversary. He's going to go watch Solo.
Happy anniversary.
I didn't want to watch that the first time.
He's going to go tell food courts that they suck.
I would too.
I love food court Chinese food.
What? Okay, we're done here.
Facts, right?
China Max is not in Tyrone anymore. It's gone.
No! You just ruined my day.
I know.
You fucking ruined my day.